I would like to share with you the insights and the wisdom from hundreds, if not a few thousand, of the workouts that I've done over the past 7 years. We're not going to waste any time, we're just going to dive straight in. So here we go. The first piece of advice I have is to master the art of working out, even if you don't feel like it. Now this, if you're wondering, is the way. It's the way that you train consistently over months and years without fail. It's how you do it. Now it can be hard, definitely to begin with, but that's because it's new. Even in the first kind of few years, it can be like that. But once you build working out into your routine, into your life, such that it's who you are and what you do, it becomes way easier, way more automatic. Now, there's always going to be some resistance, but the trick is to see that right there, that's the game. Working out is a game of repeatedly overcoming your internal resistance. You know that feeling of, I don't know if I want to work out. Well, that right there, that is what you've got to face. And you've got to face it head on, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. The key realization to have here is that it is always worth it. It always pays off. If it wasn't worth it, I would probably tell you something else. I would probably tell you, do whatever. But as it turns out, it is worth it. So that's why we're here, and that's why you should work out. Number 2, the next piece of advice I have is to work out on your own. If you haven't noticed, working out is a very intense experience and a very personal experience. To be with others or to socialize whilst you work out can be a huge distraction. For example, if you are socializing, notice how you can't fully give over your mind to the exercise. Because when you socialize, your mind is subtly and unconsciously engaged in what we could call social survival. And for you, this means that somewhere right at the back of your mind, you're not fully surrendered. You're being distracted from doing the deepest work possible. Now, on this topic of surrendering yourself, we could also ask, in general, is the maintaining of your ego killing your gains? And the answer is no, not necessarily. Keeping your ego intact is actually very good for worldly motivation. You're probably going to be the hungriest that you are, or the most driven that you are, if you have a more kind of solid or dense ego. But now to return to the original point, working out on your own, you will find that your best workouts are not just where you've crushed your workout, but where you've crushed your mind. And in order to do this, really, you've got to be on your own. Because likewise, when you socialize, notice that your attention is literally projected outward, right? It's not turned inward for introspection and contemplation and the bringing to mind of the things that you're dealing with or working through. You could be processing pain, anger, jealousy, a breakup, fear, anxiety, whatever it is. All of this stuff is best dealt with when you're on your own and when you are really focused. Without fail, for my entire life, I've always noticed and always observed that the people who work out on their own are the people who gain the most from it. So don't overthink it, work out on your own, and limit all distractions from the outside. Number 3, don't worry, your motivation to work out, it evolves over time. What this basically means is provided that you are working on yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, in other words, doing the inner work on yourself, you will gradually move toward working out with purer and more mature motivations. And really, this is what you seek, because the best version of you does not work out from pain nor anger. It works out from pure discipline and for the good of yourself and your development. But in order to get there, you've got to work your way up. And I'll admit, to get to where I am right now, I've worked out from all kinds of places with all kinds of different motivations. Everything from external validation to become more attractive, to pack on size, to deal with emotional pain, all of this stuff. It's all good, it's all valid, but you do end up working through it. And ultimately, what happens is you come back to yourself and you work out for yourself. So really, I want you to trust that you do grow and trust that your motivation does mature over time. And let me tell you, when this happens, working out, it becomes considerably more peaceful, considerably more calm, and so much less emotionally turbulent. Because I used to literally get headaches after working out because I was being motivated by such unconscious things like heartbreak or insecurity. And these things, they're not sustainable fuel. They don't feel good, and fundamentally, they are of a lower consciousness. Now, these days, working out like this for me never really happens as much, and that's because I've learned the following. I've learned working out from anger is not wise. It's not the way. Number 2, I've also learned that the more inner work that you do and the more kind of spiritual work that you do, the more pure your mind becomes. And having a purified mind is actually exactly what you want, because your mind is your reality, if you hadn't noticed, and your reality is your bubble of experience, which you live in. And so really, doing this inner work and then fusing it with your training and exercise, you're changing your entire life because you're changing your entire mind. So never underestimate the importance and the centrality of your mind when it comes to doing all of this work. Number 4, use your self-control to avoid PMO. That is pornography, masturbation, and orgasm. I find it makes a huge difference in your robustness and raw physical power if you avoid these things. So learn to control PMO urges and watch the huge impact that it has on your motivation, your drive, and your ability to be disciplined. Bonus insight here, many years ago, I didn't actually used to do this. Before I had good control of PMO and urges, I actually used to do the opposite. I used to relapse frequently and then work out right afterwards. And weirdly enough, this was good motivation. I found that you almost work out harder because you feel weaker. You need to kind of get back to a place of strength. Nowadays, however, I don't recommend this. I don't recommend this at all. I find that working out like that is working out from a place of pain and suffering and is not healthy nor sustainable. However, considering that it was part of my journey and that it might be part of yours too, notice it, appreciate it, and if you are there yourself, embrace that, work through that, so that you can move on to even higher things. Number 5, working out allows you to face your problems, but in a better state of mind. Realize, when you think about your life, you can do so from different states of energy, mind, and consciousness. And to gain the most from your reflections, what you want to do is raise your state as much as possible. And I find when you work out, you do raise your state a fair amount. And therefore, the thoughts that you have or the feelings that come to you during this time, they are especially valuable and often intuitive. They often reveal where you've been lacking or show you where the work needs to be done. A little bit like a psychedelic would give you certain pointers to work with. Now, obviously, these two things are worlds apart, but if you work out and you work out smart, for example, if you meditate before you work out like I do, your session will be more contemplative. You will think deeper, if at all, and you will have some really awesome insights on a regular basis. Now, I will say there are drawbacks to this meditating before you work out. First of all, this is mostly suitable for those who regularly meditate and who value kind of deep insights over hypertrophy or muscle gain. And secondly, you might find yourself with slightly less raw strength and drive because you're a little bit more calm and mellow. And thirdly, you might find yourself tiring a little bit quicker, not too much, but just a little bit. And I find this is kind of nicely leveled out with retention or by retention. So if you retain your seed regularly, that is a good thing to do with this. It's going to give you a lot more energy to work out, and it's going to ensure that you don't feel drained after your exercise. Number 6, don't be afraid to go deep, to really push yourself and to really face your demons. From all of my experience with working out, man, I would honestly say that some of the deepest growth that I've ever had has come from facing my demons and looking at them square in the eye. And this takes courage because you're really willing to face the truth about yourself and not run. You can do this on purpose. You can make yourself very uncomfortable and then learn to find calm in that discomfort. And getting good at this, I find you become a bit of a warrior when you work out. And this reminds me of another bonus insight which I would like to share, which is I actually enjoyed a really primal phase of working out, probably where I was kind of lifting the most and pushing myself the most, where being a warrior, mostly in here, and in the way I was training was kind of my thing. And honestly, it felt pretty badass. It involved a lot of deep discipline and kind of animal drive and raw masculine power and so on. So if you're looking to get your masculine energy on, working out with a very primal focus can further your masculine development in a pretty satisfying kind of way. Number 7, the rush of endorphins that you get from working out feels absolutely sensational. The body high is something beautiful. It always has been, so enjoy it, really savor it. I would even say that I've been addicted to it in the past. And if you're wondering how I got over that, what I did is I worked really hard to make the rest of my life feel better so that I didn't need to rely on this body high to have an enjoyable day. Likewise, working out is a huge mood booster. It really lightens you up. It really makes you positive, fresh, happy. Your energy improves. A bit of sweat and a body high, that is your indicator that you've done your job and that you've completed your mission. So congrats and enjoy those endorphins. Number 8, high quality people, they work out and they work out regularly. They make it a priority in their lives and they don't mess around. Be one of these high quality people and just apply yourself. The very best version of you works out because that's what you do. That's part of your routine. That's part of your life. And as a result, you're happier, you're more productive, you're more disciplined, and overall, you are more satisfied with life. So, to wrap things up, working out is and always will be one of the best practices that there is to work on yourself, to grow mentally, to grow physically, and to improve your life. If I were to leave you with one final thing, I would simply say that working out, it is worth it. Working out does pay off, and it does just make life better. So, there you go. I hope you found this useful, maybe a little bit inspiring. Good luck with your working out, and if you would like more videos, then my friend, please do subscribe.